Hey, it's Kendall and John from SITKA. We're up here in Bozeman at the SITKA headquarters. We're talking about a new program that SITKA is launching for 2023. And John, we were talking just before. I'm so excited. This has been one of those elements, merino wool. And it's been one of those pieces that I've always wanted SITKA to really dive into. It's been confusing to me on timing of why, and we talked a little bit about that. Maybe we can get into that here. And full disclosure, BlackOvis, we have a merino line, and so that's no disrespect to anyone else at building merino, but this program is really interesting, and I know there's a couple features about what's called ArmorSpun. That's the way the fabric is created. The weight, 120, 220, 320. Really different than I think most of the other merino companies in the outdoor space. Different combinations of style, different combinations of colors. So let's talk about the creation of the merino program. Maybe talk a little bit about the history of merino in SITKA. In fact, I remember talking to some guys that said, no, SITKA has never made merino. I'm like, no, they have. Right. And I've really liked some of it. Others, I've just like, no thanks. Take me back to how this project began. And then let's dive into the features about the type of merino you're using and what that means for us as hunters out in the field.
Yeah, so like you said, for the first time ever, SITKA has a merino program, where in the past we've had some merino pieces. And I don't really know. I mean, part of that is maybe we just couldn't find the quality of merino we were looking at, or we couldn't print it to the level that we wanted to, because obviously we're a hunting company, so we want to be able to print some of this. And really it was just a lack of focus at the time. And so, the team got together and, a lot of people in the office wear merino. And so they were having to potentially go outside of the brand to find their solution. So, we decided we didn't want to just build pieces. We wanted to build an entire merino wool program, which I think is what you see kind of shown here. The first thing is we had to go find a merino that we really liked, that lived up to our expectations, that tested in the lab well, that in the field provided the performance we were looking for. And so that alone takes a little time. And interestingly enough, and this was kind of new to me, and I was not the one that led the program, but it's obvious, but maybe not so much if you don't think about it, but wool is a natural commodity, right? There's only so many sheep that produce this high quality wool every year, and so you have to work well in advance to kind of figure that all out. And so
to corner that particular type of merino that you're wanting.
Correct. Okay. And so there was a new technology that we've called ArmorSpun, and basically the merino we did have, and some of the merino on the market is what's called beta spun. So think about a nylon core, and then wool is spun around that core, and then that's woven into the textile that's created the garment, right? What we've done with ArmorSpun is taken a merino core. So think about this as a bundle of merino, and it's been wrapped in a fiber of nylon now. And so we kind of reverse that process. So what does that do? It does a couple things. One, that nylon on the outside provides durability. That nylon on the outside also provides a better way to print and apply that print.
Because camel print goes better on
that nylon.
A synthetic versus
synthetic.
Super interesting.
Correct.
I've seen merino print from, I remember when First Light first came out, and other companies were dabbling and trying, and the process was so difficult. And what an interesting way to accomplish quality of print in a merino product. That's remarkable.
Yeah, so
I am geeking out about it, because like, why didn't someone think of that sooner?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious now, but not at the time. And so once we found that, we got the quality of merino, so 17.5 microns. So as far as outdoor industry, like that's the finest
the standard.
Micron.
Sure, that's like the
should
pinnacle.
Feel good against the vast majority of people's skin. We had the durability we wanted. Then we wanted to start building out the program. And so, as you said, what you see here, just shown in 3 different colorways, is lightweight, midweight, heavyweight. We break it into 120, 220, 330. Each color or each weight has its own color. So, you know, this green is only in the lightweight, this lead color is only in the mid, and then this tan color is only in the heavyweight. But now we also have a full complement of camo to go with it. So
not just solids.
not
in these
just solids.
Which
so,
camo patterns are we talking about?
we're talking about open country subalpine, depending on the piece. Open country subalpine, elevated 2, marsh, and timber.
All of them.
So maybe
Good.
not every single piece within the line is shown to have every pattern, depending on kind of the end use. So we know for a fact that, you know, this heavyweight, the waterfowl guy, he's just going to love this heavyweight wool, right? I mean, that's just one of the things they like. Waterfowlers are really going to like that heavyweight to midweight because those static pursuits. The big game hunter's really going to like the midweight and the lightweight, right? So we just kind of blended the patterns in. I know we'll talk bottoms, but the bottoms are only going to be in solid colors now. So we didn't print the bottoms.
No reason to print that in
But
camo.
there is some uniqueness about the bottoms, but they still will be represented in these 3 unique colorways.
Unless you're South Cox and you like to stalk in your underwear,
Then I think we got them covered.
On the colorways. The one thing I noticed, well, just real briefly, we've got a crew in this 120 lightweight, quarter zip here in the midweight, quarter zip with also a chest pocket in the heavyweight. All 3 of them have thumb holes, which are kind of instead of being horizontal, they're parallel with the way that the arm goes.
Right.
Just a different style.
Yep.
Any other, and then also in the lightweight, we have a hooded version, which is this guy right here. This one's in subalpine. And hooded versions also in mid and heavy?
Not in the mid. We'll talk about that a little later. But yes, absolutely in the heavy. But we didn't just add hoods. We wanted to leverage some of our best-selling synthetic base layer products. So Core Lightweight Hoodie, Fanatic Hoodie. So what you see here in this lightweight merino hoodie is essentially you have the Core Lightweight Hoodie now in a lightweight merino wool. So you have that face mask, you have that hood, you have that concealment. So if somebody wants to go on that big game hunt, maybe they didn't like the synthetic version because it didn't work for them from an odor perspective or whatever the case may be, or they just really enjoy merino, they've got that option now. In the heavyweight, we've got a heavyweight hoodie. It's got the hand pocket, and it's got a hood, and it's got a face mask. So now you basically have
Fanatic
a wool
style.
Fanatic hoodie, essentially.
Which is this guy right here.
Which is this right
elevated.
here. I think these 2 pieces, the lightweight hoodie and the heavyweight hoodie, are going to be really well adopted. I think the excitement around these, you know, just with the field testers was there because, you know, it's quiet, it manages odor. It's still got those great concealment properties of this, like this technical hunting shirt. But you get that in merino now. So now the consumer has a choice, synthetic or merino.
Do you think the fit, I'm die-hard lightweight core hoodie. I mean, that's just that is, it would be like sacrilege for me to not take one on a hunt. Yeah. When I whitetail hunt, the Fanatic is out of control, just so perfect. Do you think the fit for guys that are like me that have those 2 signature pieces or have incorporated them into the line, how is the fit of the merino versus the lightweight hoodie and the fit of this heavyweight merino hoodie comparable to the Fanatic?
Yep, so we worked really hard to make sure that the fits were very similar.
Okay.
What you get with the merino that you don't get with the synthetic is you get a little more stretch with some of these merinos.
Naturally,
so
yeah.
You had to, we had to work on modifying the pattern so that when you had it on, or especially after a day or so, that it still fit the same way. So I think we did a really good job of kind of managing those fits. So if you're a large, you're probably a large tall.
Large tall, exactly.
Then you should be a large tall in that, right? If I'm an XL, I should be an XL in this.
Perfect.
The one difference when we got to the heavyweight hoodie, so again, we talked about the 3 weights. All of these are 17.5 micron ArmorSpun. When we got to the heavyweight, to get the density we wanted, but also to get the performance we were looking for, understanding that this heavyweight should be, and most probably would be worn over top of some lightweight, is that there's polyester on the inside to just help pull that moisture a little bit farther and quicker through that garment because it's a little heavier to the outside. The one thing that the consumer needs to understand is no matter the construction of ArmorSpun, no matter how we laid these things up, you still get all the great properties that everybody knows and loves about wool. That soft feel, that antimicrobial treatment so it's not going to stink, right? All those things, quietness, all those great properties of wool are still here. None of that's been compromised.
Dude, would you say, this is an interesting question that I don't think I've thought of before, but would you say that because we're genetically different, all of us are we perspire differently or we interact with fabrics differently? Would you say that to the guys that have used Polygiene in the lightweight core, like I don't think, I mean, in a 10-day mule deer hunt, I'll probably there's a lake close by where we hunt, where we base camp, and we'll try and wash clothes once because I'm taking only one top. But I don't think it gets gamey, me personally. But I have friends or other people that have said, "Oh, dude, that I don't care what Sitka's trying to put on Polygiene this, Polygiene that, it doesn't work." So would you say that merino more universally is well suited for more genetic differences in us, or than a polyester is? I mean, what I'm trying to say is, can more guys use a merino and count on less odor than on a treated polyester?
Yeah, to your point on the Polygiene, I'm the same way. So I back in the day, like I tested it, day after day after day for weeks on end, where I would use one shirt to work out in, never wash it. I had other people say it didn't work as well. I've even asked the people at Polygiene, what exactly is that? Is it the pH or the person or whatever the case may be? I've never really gotten the best answer except to say it works better on some than others. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that wool didn't manage their odor exceptionally well. I would say that I've heard people mention that some synthetics don't feel very good next to their skin. I've also heard the same about wool, but not generally when it's a 17.5 micron. That's just the quality of the wool, right? The fineness of the fiber. So I would say if somebody has tried something that's synthetic and didn't like it, or it didn't work for them for whatever reason, merino wool is probably their solution.
More universally,
probably more universally
accepted, or the performance
adaptable.
is more universal for other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super interesting.
Absolutely.
This lineup, again, I've been waiting for this to happen for years, and I'm grateful, because there's sometimes as a person that is selling product and trying to push people into different products, when Sitka hasn't had what this line does, it's like, well, you can substitute brand X or brand Y, or stick with a synthetic, and then someone has a complaint or a disagreement with the synthetic. This is really it cornerstones someone into the Sitka lineup, versus needing to bounce around inside the hunting industry or outside the hunting industry.
Well, like I said, we wanted to build a whole program, right? So we've got some bottoms.
And I'll pull this off because these are unique in design.
So we've got all 3 weights of bottoms. We also have a midweight boxer. We have a synthetic boxer that we introduced in 23.
Yep.
But these are midweight, heavyweight, are generally going to be your standard long john, your long bottom. When you get to the heavyweight,
anything special as far as features go here, or just
no,
you
just
know what you get?
Standard fly. Fits well. Should be contoured fit.
Lengthwise or cuff at the
low
bottom.
profile waistband.
The waistband is really flat. That's the one thing I will mention, and it's. I always like to look at garments and product on the inside. It's very, very clean. I mean, the cut is clean, the stitching is clean. It doesn't feel like it's going to itch or irritate.
I appreciate you saying that, because we actually worked a really long time on a waistband.
Nobody appreciates
completely unnoticed by most people until it irritates them,
yeah.
right? On the heavyweight, though, we've got your standard long john, long bottom, but now for the first time ever, we've got, in the heavyweight only, we've got a zip-off base layer bottom. So we've heard a lot about this for either a big game hunter, and they need to modify their layering from evening to afternoon, back in the morning, or whatever the case may be, or that whitetail hunter or the duck hunter. So now this is kind of a mid-calf length, and the reason we did that is if you've got your boots on, you don't want to have to either pull the base layer out of the boot or stick the base layer back in, or with a rubber boot. And so it's kind of mid-calf. But it zips off, and the zippers kind of roll around to the front, just kind of intuitively. they're just easier to access, especially if you have like an
Versus
optics harness
down
on.
a side.
Down the side's a little bit more difficult, especially for me, right? After a couple days knocking around the woods, my flexibility isn't what it needs to be. So it's just a little more intuitive that starts here and then it ends on the side. But we've never had that before. It was something that I wanted to make sure we really tested because every zipper is a potential weak point.
Sure.
And so, you know, I wasn't opposed to it, but I just want to make sure we did our due diligence. And again, the feedback from the field testers has been outstanding. So when you start to look at this, and I will say there's also several women's styles
comparable
represented
in this line.
in the three weights. Well, 2 weights for women, midweight and heavyweight, or lightweight and heavyweight. That we, you know, SITKA finally has a full wool program now in spring 24 that we're really proud of, and we can't wait to get it out there.
So one of the things, John, I noticed, there are some manufacturers that have a zip off that run zipper head at the bottom, some at the top. It's kind of sixes, I suppose. You're gonna have to choose one or the other. Why at the bottom? Is it obvious from a use standpoint that you chose to put the zipper head down here versus at the top?
So sometimes when you have the zipper at the top, if it's not a locking slider, it could work itself loose.
It can open.
Sometimes, depending on waist belts, a pack, although we tried to roll ours to the front, sometimes that's a chafe area. Down below, didn't have to worry about it opening so much. People can manage it right at the top of their boot where their sock is, so maybe they didn't feel it. Ultimately, you have to decide, right? It's got to be one place or the other.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the placement, moving that in, like you just mentioned, this zone right here along the waistline is not going to receive the pressure that this zone would. So that's pretty remarkable. It's a simple thing, but in the field, it's going to be something that me or anyone else is going to really, really appreciate. I was mentioning earlier about the flatness. I mean, I don't know, for you guys that are watching, you can't see this, but if I could only convey like how clean and flat this looks, I literally look at this base layer and say, this is going to be maybe one of the more comfortable ones I've ever worn. And you mentioned before about women's intimate, and from we're all guys, from us looking at stuff that we like it optically, but from a woman that's wearing, whether it's bras or underwear or other things, it has to function, regardless of what we as men think or what they as women think. So you were saying you guys as a team look at different industries or different uses.
Yeah, and
particularly
see how
on
things
bottoms.
are constructed, and you know, if you need a seamless waistband, go where people have seamless waistbands and see what they did and how they built it. You don't build it the exact same way, but you get inspiration.
Sure.
And so, you know, I like to say you never know where the next best idea is going to come from. But yeah, we worked really, really long and hard, the team did, on keeping that waistband like as seamless and as chafe-free and as thin as possible, so you just didn't even know it was there.
From the look, and I haven't worn it yet, it's a home run in far as I'm looking here. A couple more pieces that round out this line. You've got a glove and a beanie.
Yep, so we have a glove and a beanie.
Both out of the heavyweight.
The glove and the beanie are both 330 grams, so they're both the heavyweight. Just kind of like you said, just kind of round out the collection. I really like wool glove liners like this. These are great, and then, you know, who doesn't like a wool beanie? So because we had all this great wool, we wanted to make sure that we put it everywhere we thought it would kind of serve best.
My next question is future build. I instantly think lightweight, midweight, potential crossover from pieces. So, you know, like a zip-off lightweight, other pieces. Do you still envision there's more to the Merino line than what SITKA and BlackOvis is unveiling this year?
Yeah, I would just say that the Merino line we built is bigger than what we came to market with first year, just because we felt it was maybe too big to start with.
Okay.
But yeah, there's more to come, I think, with this. You know, the adoption of Merino is here, and so we thought this was a really great place to start, but it's not necessarily where we're going to end.
Well, don't take this as an offense. It's about time from
It
SITKA.
It is. Yep.
And it is exciting. Like as you know, I wear SITKA most of the time when I hunt. I dabble in some of the other brands that we carry, and I use some. I have kits in a couple other brands. Very excited to add SITKA Merino as a legitimate lineup, not just a one or two nice pieces.
Yeah.
So kudos to you and the team. Thanks for letting us talk about this. Thanks for, hopefully we've shared some information that gives you the hunter, you know, who's discerning between what to buy, why to buy, gives you an idea of the SITKA Merino lineup for 2023. John, thanks for your time on this. I appreciate it.
Right.